It was an ordinary day. A gentle breeze was blowing through the streets of the city. The noise of daily life filled the air, shops opening, people rushing for their work, vendors calling out for customers. Among all this hustle and bustle, a young girl was walking fast, holding her dreams and hopes in her heart. She was heading towards an office for a job interview. Her face looked tense but determined. Her steps were quick, yet her heartbeat was even quicker. She kept thinking, if I get this job today, everything will change. My life will be better, my family's burden will be lighter, and maybe a new chapter of happiness will begin. As she came closer to the office, her eyes fell on a poor old woman sitting by the roadside. The woman was wearing torn, dusty clothes. Her hair was messy, her face wrinkled with despair. In her frail hands, she held an old bowl with a few coins and crumpled notes inside. Her voice trembled as she begged passers-by for help, but most people ignored her and walked away. The girl stopped for a moment and looked at her. A flicker of pity appeared in her heart, but only for a second. She slowly walked towards the beggar woman, bent down, and peeked inside the bowl. There were a few coins and some small notes. Then the girl noticed something shocking. The woman's eyes were white and lifeless. She was blind. Seeing this, greed awoke inside the girl. She thought, this woman is blind. She won't even know if I take her money. Why should I miss this chance? For a moment, her conscience resisted, but greed won. Silently, she picked up all the money from the bowl, quickly put it in her pocket, and walked away without saying a word. The blind woman only felt that someone had come near, but she didn't realize her hard-earned coins were stolen. A little while later, another young man passed by. He, too, noticed the old woman. His clothes were plain, his face showed some stress, perhaps because of his own struggles. At first, he thought she must really need help, but when he saw the bowl filled with coins, greed flashed in his eyes. He looked around quickly, bent down, grabbed all the money, and left in a hurry. The poor woman raised her trembling voice. My child, where did my money go? But the man laughed and walked away, leaving only her sorrowful cries behind. Now the bowl was empty. The blind woman sat helplessly on the ground. Tears rolled down her cheeks. She kept wondering, how can people be this cruel? Even my poverty isn't enough to soften their hearts. After some time, a third young man appeared. His face was innocent and calm, his clothes simple, but his eyes reflected kindness and sincerity. When he saw the old woman, he stopped. He slowly approached her and sat beside her. Mother, are you sitting here all alone? He asked gently. The woman replied in a weak voice. My son, I am blind. People sometimes give me something to eat, sometimes nothing. But today it feels like even my luck has abandoned me. The young man looked at the empty bowl, puzzled. He thought, how could this be empty? Surely someone must have helped her. Then he noticed a couple of coins scattered on the ground, which made him realize someone must have stolen from her. His heart filled with pain. How heartless can people be to steal from a blind woman? He quickly reached into his own pocket, pulled out some money, and placed it in her hand. Mother, keep this money in your pocket. Don't leave it in the bowl. Someone might steal it again. The old woman's trembling fingers held the money tightly. She whispered with gratitude, May God bless you, my son. It has been so long since I met a truthful human being. Today you came to me like an angel. Her voice cracked as she continued. But child, I am very hungry. My stomach burns with emptiness. The young man stood up immediately. He went to a nearby shop, bought food, and placed it before her. Please eat, mother, and pray for me. I am going for a job interview today. The woman felt the food with her hands, smelled its aroma, and began to eat slowly. With every bite, tears of relief fell from her eyes. She raised her face towards the sky and prayed, Oh Allah, this kind-hearted boy is going for a job. Bless him with success. Open the doors of mercy for him. The young man smiled softly. Your prayer is my greatest strength, mother, he said. With a heart full of hope, he walked towards the office. When he entered the waiting room, he saw two other candidates sitting there, the same girl and the same man who had stolen the beggar woman's money. The moment they saw him, they burst into laughter. They whispered to each other, mocking him. Look at him. He came here for a job? He looks like he belongs to the streets, not in an office. Their laughter stung, but he remained silent. He quietly sat down on a chair. His heart whispered, Trust Allah. He sees everything. Moments later, a receptionist walked in. She looked at all three candidates and said, Please wait here. Your interview will begin soon. She led them inside the main office room. It was large, furnished with polished chairs and a big desk. All three were asked to sit. Just then, the same blind woman entered the room. Everyone was shocked. The girl, who earlier had stolen from her, rushed forward and shouted, What are you doing here? Get out. She was about to push her out when the kind young man stood up quickly. Stop. So what if she is poor? She is still human. You cannot treat her like this. He gently held the old woman's arm, escorted her respectfully to the door, and left her outside safely. Then he returned and stood quietly. The other two laughed again. After being humiliated like that, you're still standing here? If you had even a little dignity, you would leave. The young man looked at them and calmly said, Shame on you. A job is not for those who crush humanity under their feet. If you cannot respect the weak, you don't deserve respect yourselves. His words silenced the room for a moment. Then, a knock came at the door. A graceful woman entered. Her presence carried authority and wisdom. She was the owner of the company. She looked around at them and ordered firmly, Silence. Now listen to my decision. She said, The selection has already been made. The two dishonest candidates were shot. But the interview hasn't even started, they exclaimed. The woman smiled slightly and removed her scarf. To their astonishment, she was the same beggar woman from outside. She spoke firmly. The interview already took place. I tested arrested all of you outside in the real world. I watched your actions, your honesty, your humanity. Turning to the girl and the man, her tone hardened. You both stole money from a blind woman. Your hearts are empty of compassion. You are unworthy of this job. Then she looked at the kind young man and her eyes softened. And you returned the money, fed me, treated me with dignity. You showed me that humanity still exists. You are the one truly deserving of this job. The faces of the other two candidates turned red with shame. She pointed towards the door and said sternly, "Leave immediately." Then she called the kind young man forward. "This job belongs to you now," she declared. Tears welled up in his eyes. "Madam, this is only by God's grace and your prayers." The woman embraced him warmly and said, "Truth and kindness never go unrewarded." The room filled with applause. At last, a man's honesty and humanity earned him the success he deserved. If you like the video, please share it and subscribe to the channel.